back, you can take the goalposts right back to them. So bring that up. It basically it makes it really difficult for Christians to cling to the idea that morality could come from their God's commands in the first place.
Which is also potentially an absurdity anyway. That the idea. I mean, when I talk about morality, I'm mostly in line with Sam Harris. I'd recommend The Moral Landscape. I don't necessarily agree with everything in it, but I'm by and large in line with. If we're going to be talking about this, what we generally mean is we're talking about well-being, and that is the sort of thing about which fiat declarations have no bearing. You know, drinking battery acid is bad for pretty much everybody. Even if you find somebody who can drink battery acid, that doesn't change the fact that as a general rule, it's bad for you. And it didn't take anybody's pronouncement to actually discover that or make or change the truth of it. There's an aspect of this that, well, I'll just leave it at that. And if you had a follow-up question, go ahead.
Another thing, I was talking to my father, and I was pulling examples from the Bible of how if God really is condoning a lot of these actions, he's a really mean guy. I mean, slavery, you get stoned, be sexual, you should kill your children, it's bad. I mean, and then I was telling him these stuff, and he believes in the Bible, but then he's saying to me, well, can you prove God said these things? Can you prove God condoned these? And I'm saying, of course not. They're the invention of man to condone this.
That's kind of unusual. I mean, you know, he believes it, but he doesn't necessarily believe it. It reminds me of when we had Ray Comfort on the show, and Ray said that he didn't agree or didn't believe that everything in the Bible was true and accurate. And I thought that was a big admission on his part, but it then leads directly to the question of, okay, how do you go about determining what is true and accurate? Because I fully admit that there are true and accurate things in the Bible and in the Quran and in pretty much any book you want to point to. Even in some high fantasy, they point to real truths about behavior.
It's just not true because they're in the book. It's just true because it's true.
I would ask a believer who wants to weasel out of responsibility for passages like that by making the claim that, well, only some of the Bible is God's revealed word, right? Only some of it is accurate, other bits aren't. They can't get away from the fact that for almost 2,000 years, those passages were descriptive of what their religion was all about. They can poo-poo them now, but they are continuing a belief system that not only believed those things to be true, but they were like core beliefs of the religion for many, many centuries. So to discard them like that and not take any responsibility of the path their religion has taken to get them where they are now, I think is worth looking at.
Yeah, this